Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining. We're like the animal kingdom in this household now. It is just too funny. I'm gonna have to do a whole a whole live video of just all of the animals in my house. Hey Jonathan, thanks so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. Hey Brian, how are you? Hey, good to see you. Thanks so much for the thumbs up and the hearts. If you guys could share it. Hey, Lisa, if you could share the broadcast, that would be great. Hey, Lexi, good to see you. Dr. Dre, good to see you. Did you get my text, Dr. Dre? I told you I need to talk to you. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Dre. I definitely need to talk to you, though. So if you didn't get my text, let me know. Hey, Herb, thank you. I appreciate that you love my stuff. I don't know if you should say that out loud. Hey, Stephen. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're talking about the qualities that you should have. Hey, Stephen. Good to see you again, too. The qualities you should have if you want to be considered a go-to expert in the media. It's like we've been talking about media all this week. Hey, Princess. Good to see you. Hey, Warren. And I'm doing a webinar tomorrow about how to create a simple plan to get more media in just 1 hour a week. And so in the post, hey Cheryl, hey Carolyn Beverly, how are you? In the post, there is a link for a media planner. And so we're going to discuss the media planner on the webinar. So if you want a media planner, just grab it. If you want an explanation for the media planner, make sure you also join the webinar. Hey Marcus, how are you? Thank you. I'm glad that you are agreeing with my topic today, sir. I appreciate it. So, hey, Daryl. So a lot of time the media, we need experts. We need experts to talk about just about anything. When news stories break, if it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if there's a holiday coming up, or just to give good sound advice, we're like always looking for good experts. And I'm glad that Dr. Dre actually tuned in. I don't know if he's still on, but he is a great example of somebody that the media goes to repeatedly because he's such a good expert. Hey, Comrade, how are you? I'm good, Carolyn. Thank you. And he has all of these qualities. And so he, if you're not familiar with him, definitely follow him. He is an OBGYN, but he is always, talking to the media and his audience about his expertise. And like I said, he's just really great. So the first thing, hey, Rodolfo, how are you? Oh, the American Beauty Live again. I don't know about all that. Hey, Raquel, how are you? Thank you. Hi, beautiful to you too. So the first thing, and probably one of the most important things, is they're just good talent. So they have an opinion. Hey, Tate, how you gonna be late and want to know the topic? We're talking about qualities that make you a go-to expert for the media. And we're just on the first one, so you haven't missed much. So the first one is that they're good talent, right? So they have an opinion, whether people agree or disagree, that's up for debate. But with the media, whether they love you or hate you, as long as they're watching, reading, or listening, who cares? And so as long as you have an opinion one way or the other and can support it, that's a good thing. Showing personality is awesome. I mean, because you can have 3 financial experts and one could be just Mr. Personality or Mrs. Personality, and the media will gravitate. Thanks, El Marie, for recapping for me. Hey, Busy. The media will gravitate to them anytime. If I had to pick an OBGYN, and I know a lot of them, I have 2 that I go to, and that is Dr. Dre, who was just on. Hey, Mr. Kazar, how are you? And Dr. Rachel Ross, who was on The Doctor. So those are like my 2 go-to. If I can't get them, we probably are not going to talk about it. Hey, Nikki, thank you. And you also have to know your target audience. So that's a big one too. Knowing your information and being able to tailor your message to who is listening is a skill and a talent. And so you really have to learn how to do that. And it's not difficult. I mean, if you're talking to 18-year-olds, obviously you're going to give them different information in a different way than you would if it's a 68-year-old. And so you just have to really be clear about who you are talking to and deliver the message so that it resonates. Yes, if you are on camera, body language is very, very very important. And so if you are serious about really developing your media portfolio and you really want to be considered an expert, then I always suggest media training, because it's not necessarily something that most people have naturally. Some people do, but not most people. And so if you're serious about, making sure your message is on point and connecting with the audience and that sort of thing, then I always suggest media training. But the first one is that as a go-to expert, you should just be good talent. You should have a personality, you should have an opinion, and you should connect with the target audience. The second thing is they're available. Most of the experts that I rely on and did rely on, especially when I was producing for Tom, I knew who I could call and get a yes no matter what. And so speaking properly is important, but I think that your message is more important than how you speak. Some people, that works for them. It's their personality. So you also have to be very careful about not changing your personality just because you need to think you think you need to sound a certain way. Eric, I do media training all the time, but if you could, you can Google media trainers, but I do media coaching and media training all the time. And so the second one, like I said, is they're available. And a lot of times, especially in TV and radio, it's last minute availability. So I could call you, there were times many a morning when we had an 8:15 interview or a 7:15 in the morning interview, and we found out at 6:30 that the interview was not going to happen and we needed to find an expert. So I would call your house at 6:30 in the morning to get an expert. But as I said before, I knew who I could call and I knew who would make themselves available. So it's really important that if you are interested in being a repeat guest in media, a repeat go-to expert, that you are flexible, you are willing to make some compromises, and that you will fit in with some of the media's demands, which could be it can be quite extensive, especially if it's a major nationally syndicated show. They could have some stuff that they want you to do. The other thing, if you are an expert, you need to make sure that you stay up to date on whatever information it is in your field. So you should always be cutting edge. Oh, thank you, LaTanya. I appreciate it. You want to be cutting edge, especially if you're like technology or social media, any of those fields that change a lot and change quickly. You want to make sure that you're up to date. So you're checking industry websites, you're in publications, and if anything, happens in the news, that you are ready and you are available to talk about it. Piggybacking on a news story to showcase your expertise is one of the best ways to get an interview. And we're always looking for experts that can kind of explain to us, what the heck is going on in this world today. So always look for those opportunities to show up and raise your hand and say, I am here, I'm available, and I can help break this down for you. We love that in the media. The next thing, and this is a little bit more difficult, I think, for most of us, and that is to really always look for feedback and critique for your performance. Sure, Orlando, go ahead. That's fine. I appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing. Hey, Demetrius, you should be personable. You should have a passion for people. I think you should have to stand on the truth, and you have to be inspired. Inspiration comes from God. Yep, sure, all of that. But you also have to ask for critique. You also have to make sure that you're connecting. And sometimes the producer will have feedback for you on that. And so you have to be open to that. Like I said, for most producers, like our main concern is our audience. Yes, Brian, I believe feedback is a gift too. But a lot of people are not open to it. So you have to remain open. Most, producers know their audiences. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. And you also have to think of it, if they take the time to give you feedback, then they see that there's some potential. If it was just a wash, then they're not going to give you any feedback because they're not going to care. They're not going to have you back, so it doesn't matter. So be open to feedback and even ask for it. Seek it out. I always, and this is just as a media professional, but I think it would work for experts too. I mean, always listen back to the segment and see what worked and what didn't work. See if you felt comfortable. See, or listen for instances where it didn't quite work, and ask for that audio so that you can do that. The last thing, and I think this is probably just as important as the first one, is to make sure that you're forming and then nurturing those relationships with your target media. Right. So a lot of times I suggest that, most people, if you're serious about media, that you want to start to develop those relationships before you're actually going to use them. So it's not just you out of the blue. Hey, Junius, how are you? It's not you just out of the blue, emailing and asking for the interview, but you're really serious about developing relationships so that you can, you're welcome, Sandy, so that, you can be that resource. And there are several people that, that were experts for me that did such a great job of this. That we're like friends now. It's like you can't get rid of me, and that's awesome, And even, hey Marcos in Brazil, hating on you right now. Leo says, oftentimes I watch myself and look at the things that can improve on. It's not easy, but it's helpful. It's not easy, but it is helpful. And it's not easy no matter how long you've done it. So it's not like it ever gets any easier. I was in radio for 20 years. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I was in radio for 20 years and I still don't like the sound of my voice. And so, but hey, bro. Hey, Rocky, how are you? I'm waiting for an update from you. And so it doesn't get any easier, but it's something that you have to do. Hey, Margie, thanks for tuning in. So that's the last one. And even if when you develop a relationship, even if I can't use you, maybe we don't have room on the show or whatever, I would recommend you to somebody else that I think that you could benefit. So that's why it's awesome to have these relationships. So you definitely want to, to try to nurture it and, create it and nurture it before the interview. But then after the interview, also follow up, thank them for the interview, but then continue thank you, Stephen, continue to serve as a resource for that media. So then, if they, if they have a need for you again, that you're the first thing that they think of. You're a failed film critic. I'm not sure what that means, Nick. Can you explain? Hey, Eric. Yeah, you have to network. It's always about relationships, no matter what. Media is no exception. If you're an okay, I'll be waiting, Rocky. If you're an entrepreneur, it's about relationships. If you're a professional, it's about relationships. Life is about relationships. And so you really have to nurture those. How do you get into voiceovers? Well, there's two different ways. Technology has made it a little bit easier. There's certain websites and companies. I think Voice 123 is one of them, probably the most widely used. And so you can create a profile like anything else. You can upload a demo. You need a demo. So you need an example of what you sound like. And it's usually like 3 minutes or less. It's really quick and it's just snippets. You can take already existing commercial scripts and read it, find different things. Hey, Valerie. No, I know what a film critic is. I just was wondering why you said that you had failed at it. So Voice 123, and there are other sites that you can do it, but Voice 123 is probably the biggest. You upload your profile, and then people go on there looking for people to do voiceovers, and so they can find you there. Or you can look. There are agencies that represent voiceover talent. And so you can, audition for them, and if they like you, then they'll represent you and actually find you work. But Voice 123 is, it's very helpful. I've booked jobs on it. I do voiceovers all the time, and I've booked jobs on Voice 123. Hey, Dave, thank you. I'm proud of you too. I appreciate that. That's awesome. So those are just some tips if you want to connect. Hey, Reggie. Thanks for, oh, you're sweet. Thanks for tuning in. So those are just some tips if you want to be considered an expert. I failed at it due to how, oh, okay. Well, you can always get better. You can always try again. I think that failure is just a lesson. Raquel, you're looking to do a life coach talk show. You should. I don't think we could ever have too many talk shows. I love talk shows. And I think that it's a great way to showcase your expertise if you're looking to grow your business and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's good. So just to recap, if you want to be considered a go-to expert for the media, first, you got to be good talent. You have to have personality and opinion. You have to know your target audience and how to communicate with them, or the media's target audience, and make sure that you communicate with them. You have to be available, because a lot of times people will call at the last minute and we want you to say yes. And if you don't, sometimes we get irritated and we won't call you again. So you want to be available. You want to, answer your phone. You want to, pitch yourself. And if you pitch yourself, be ready for that call. Oh, you have an air check? Okay, good. Well, that's helpful, but for voiceovers, you really want to have more of a commercial demo. An air check, for those of you who are not familiar, is something we use in radio, and it's like what we sound when we're like doing a radio show. But if you want to do voiceovers, you really should have more of a commercial demo. I don't bash often, Nick. So for you to know that I bashed something is not good, because I do not bash often, but I still do bash. I do bash occasionally. I went on a rant like 2 days ago. If you guys missed it, I was so irritated. And then, like I said, you want to make sure you show up. You want to know your stuff. You want to stay up to date. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is you want to seek feedback. So you want to be able to always, improve, and that sort of thing. Commercial demo. Yeah, you definitely want a commercial demo. And then the fifth thing is you want to make sure that you're nurturing those relationships. You want to come say hi to everybody? No? Okay. My oldest son, I told you we have like a virtual zoo here. My oldest son is feeding the fish, like right out of camera. But he don't want to say hi. But that's okay. He's cute. I wanted you to see how cute he is, but he doesn't want to say it. So it's a commercial demo, but you're calling it an air check. Okay, well, I call them two different things, so I was a little confused. So if you have a commercial demo, Carolyn, then you are good. All right. So anyway, grab the media planner if you're serious about getting media for your business. Like I said, it will offer you the option to go to a webinar where I'm really going to explain the media planner. Oh, it's more like an actual show. Well, you might want to cut it up. It really shouldn't be longer than 3 minutes, even for an air check. I mean, it should move pretty quickly, and I wouldn't suggest you use like the whole segment. I would like just chop up some of the best stuff and put it together, and really. My kids don't like how I incorporate home life into my work, but I mean, I'm home, so, you can't help it. Thank you, Eric. And so it really should showcase different things. So like on my commercial demo, I mean, you have the upbeat, you have the slow, you have me sounding just like a mom. You also have kind of like the sexy thing going on. So you really should showcase different things. And that's true even with your radio air check. You really should showcase doing different stuff so that they can see how versatile you are. If you only show one side or one set thing, then you might get typecast and not get as much work. So you really want to show as much versatility as possible. Okay, good, Carolyn. Then you are all set. Awesome. Well, I am off, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all the hearts. Thanks for all the shares. My day is complete. It's like now I don't even feel like my day can end if I don't talk to you guys. It's so strange. Yeah, you know what, Eric, and you have a great voice. So, I mean, it would be, it's fairly straightforward. And like I said, voice 1, 2, 3, I mean, you can do it and just kind of get your feet wet and kind of see the process. Thank you, Reginald. I appreciate that. You can see the process and, you can kind of pick and choose how you want to do it. A lot of times, you'll get offers and you may not be able to fit it in. And so, Stephen, you know what? I really don't do radio that much anymore. I do a weekly segment, on the Al Rucker show, every Friday. But I resigned a year ago, and I just kind of do that because I still love radio so much. But I only want to do it on my terms. I don't want to go back on somebody else's terms. So that's why I do a lot of Facebook Lives. I still do a lot of interviews on Facebook, because it kind of keeps me, in connection with that passion that I have for communicating and for radio and all that kind of stuff. So, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So anyway, I'm off, you guys. I haven't had dinner yet. You're on voice 1, 2, 3 now. It's a good site. All right. I haven't had dinner, so I'm not going anywhere, Stephen. I'm right here. And you have more access to me now than you did when I was working. So, all right. Hey, my boo. Ashley Nicole Brown is my boo. And I haven't seen you for days. So, hey, honey, I got to hit you up. I need you like in a week. So I'm going to hit you up. Yeah, catch the recording, Donna, and let me know what you think. I appreciate you guys. All right, I really got to go. You guys can keep me here forever because I just love talking to you. I'm getting good, aren't I, Ashley? I'm getting good. Ashley is my makeup artist. So Ashley's always giving me like tips on how to do my makeup. And so so whenever she tells me I did good, I feel all extra special. So anyway, okay, love you guys. Okay, Bear. Bye, Eric. I'm gone. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, Lexi. I always appreciate you tuning in. See you guys.